No matter what kind of music you listen to, I love something you hate. Elvis Presley, Tomorrow is a Long Time. This is a song I illustrate to anyone who's Elvis curious, but has already heard like the greatest hits, and they're like, did he do anything actually great beyond what he did that everyone knows? And yes, and he did a lot of pap for movies and for records to just be put out. But Elvis was a real deal artist, and he had much to offer artistically that is gone to the sands of time and is not known by anyone except for big dorks like me. Why do I know this song? Because of course it is a Bob Dylan cover, one of the few Bob Dylan songs that Elvis did a version of. On the Wikipedia page it says that Bob Dylan says that this was his most cherished recording that anyone ever did. It's certainly one of my favorite versions of a Bob Dylan song. It is very moody. It's got the vibe and the feel that I'm so jealous of, the leaning into the microphone romantic singing style that Elvis did so well. So I really like this song, started doing a little digging and investigating, and sure enough, this version by Elvis Presley is very directly referencing the version by Odetta. Elvis staying on brand and stealing from black people. Well done, Elvis, you're very predictable. To be fair, it actually is not stealing from Odetta necessarily, but stealing from the musicians who she worked with for her Bob Dylan cover album. That is actually very good. Not that matters. I mean, Elvis didn't come up with his arrangement. He just simply liked what someone else did. He was like, yoink, don't mind if I do. And artistically, that doesn't bother me, but it's more of the social problem that people would pay more money for Elvis than they would for Odetta because of racism and because of sexism and because the world is a dumpster fire that's never going to be fixed. So the problem isn't necessarily on Elvis. I don't want to put blame on this dead individual, more on the society he came from that we still live with. And Elvis is a much nicer singer than Odetta. Odetta, you're a great big weirdo artist and I love you, but Elvis Presley has a nicer singing voice for you. Men who sing pretty must be my favorite genre of all time, and Elvis sings this one so lovely. So lovely. It's a very romantic song, very longing and forlorn. It's deep in the emotions of wanting to be with someone. Bob Dylan wrote this in his very early 20s. It's like, yeah, he was just so good right out of the bat. I saw this tweet or meme or something that said the best thing about Bob Dylan breakup songs is that you always know that he's at fault in the relationship. The fact that that sort of detail is actually in the song is just an illustrator of how good of a self-portrait artist Bob Dylan actually is in his songs. His songs are not about him, but how Bob Dylan views relationships in the world is in them. And I would say if you're looking to date this guy in the 60s, you'd probably stay away by listening to these songs. I wish I could tell you who actually played on this recording or on the original Odetta one. I didn't actually do the research. I bet they all did very interesting work that's worthy of investigating. Because that's the thing, when you become a music nerd, you're just like, you can't just like a song. You have to find out who played on it, who references it, who was it referencing, who the players were. And eventually you just end up with these huge playlists of songs that influence you that are just like beyond the actual song that influenced you. Speaking of which, this whole series of videos of me talking about songs is based around the songs that made me want to play music or songs that I want to play music like. It's called Why I Picked Up the Gun and Where I Shot.